Indestructible one, Brett Favre, 237 consecutive starts for him, by far an NFL record. Peyton Manning about 100 behind at this point. From the 25-yard line on first down, they'll start with Amon Green running into that Bear defense after a gain of 2. Let's take a look at the offense for the Green Bay Packers.
Brett Favre, University of Southern Mississippi.
Amon Green, Nebraska.
William Henderson, North Carolina.
Donald Driver, Alcorn State.
Robert Franks, DU.
Chad Clifton, Tennessee.
Darren College, Boise State.
Scott Wells, Tennessee.
Jason Spitz, Louisville.
Mark Tosher, Wisconsin.
One guy who would have started was Greg Jennings. He won't. There is Ruvell Martin, who gets to start. Jennings went back to Green Bay. His wife gave birth to a baby girl today. And that is taken by Green up to the 35-yard line. Green a yard shy of the first. It's third down and 1. Favre rolling left, comes back the other way, throws. That's caught by Henderson, and that'll be a first down. William Henderson over the last 4 seasons, in terms of longevity, second only to Brett Favre as a Packer. From the 37-yard line, here's Green closing in on a 1,000-yard season. Needed 12 coming into the game, and now has 11 after 3 carries. Let's take a look at the Chicago defense.
Wale Ogunleye, Tauntonville High School.
Alfonso Boone, Mount San Antonio College.
Ian Scott, Florida.
Alex Brown, the Mighty Gators.
Lance Briggs, University of Arizona.
Brian Urlacher, University of New Mexico.
Hunter Hillenmeyer, Vanderbilt.
Ricky Manning, UCLA.
Chris Harris, the University of Louisiana at Monroe.
Danielle Manning, Abilene Christian.
Nathan Vasher, the University of Texas.
Second down and 9 now. Favre on the play fake, buys a ton of time, then throws, and the catch is made at the 35-yard line. And the ball is fumbled out of bounds as Holiday makes the catch, but it was fumbled and not recovered before it bounded out of bounds.
To get Holiday downfield.
Gain of 35. And now the handoff goes to Morency, who backs up Amon Green, and the former Houston Texan picks up a couple. It'll be second down and about 8. The offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. On second down and 7, off the fake, pressure is on, and Favre just slings it away because bearing down on him was Ogunleye and Tank Johnson.
There you're going to see Tank Johnson, and he's over the right guard, the rookie Jason Spitz right here, number 72. And you see exactly what Tank Johnson does. He kind of fakes like he's going to the outside and then just takes that inside lane.
Tank Johnson, and we'll get into his story because he's been arrested 3 times in the last 18 months. His first game back in 2 weeks. Third down and 7. Favre stepping up, buys time, pass caught, and again that's Holiday making the catch. So 2 grabs for Holiday and a first down at the 12-yard line. First and 10. The ball is at the 12-yard line. 4 wide. And Favre lost that one out of the back of the end zone. Good double coverage there.
And if one of them doesn't go inside, the quarterback can really step up in passing downs and make some big plays.
Second and 10 from the 12-yard line. This is Green, and he now has a 1,000-yard season as he gets to the 9-yard line. Third down and 6 out of the shotgun. Holiday is the man in motion. Noah Herron is the back, the third down back. He goes out into the pattern. Favre throws over the middle, caught. Flag down. Driver for the moment has a Green Bay touchdown, assuming the penalty is on Chicago. Next Saturday, the playoffs begin right here on NBC. And from the 34-yard line, Thomas Jones's night begins with a stuffing by Nick Barnett.
Look at that cast that Nick Barnett has on him. That didn't affect that tackle at all. I mean, he's right here. He's the middle linebacker. He just reads that lead, and instead of waiting for the lead blocker, he just steps up because he has a gap. He takes his gap, and Thomas Jones runs right into him. Second down and 11. And this time,
Grossman will keep it, and then after faking the handoff to Rasheed Davis, the pass is incomplete. Good Rex, bad Rex, but one thing about Rex, he was durable this year, and that hasn't been the case in the past couple. He's the first Bears quarterback to start every game during the regular season since 1995, when Eric Kramer did it. In fact, since the NFL went to a 16-game schedule in '78, only in 3 seasons have the Bears had a guy start every game at quarterback. Vince Evans in '81, Jim Harbaugh, now the coach at Stanford, in '91, and Kramer in '95. On 3rd and 11, Grossman throwing, and that pass is too high, intended for Rasheed Davis, and Chicago's first offensive thrust is a 3-and-out. Have had streaks of 50+, so he's at 237, and who knows if that will continue next year. We'll talk about that as we go along. Here as Favre throws, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Brandon Myrie. He looked like he did 10 years ago. 2nd down and 10.
You know, he made that bootleg pass and everything.
And that's a pass right on the money to Ruvell Martin, running a slant. Martin getting the start tonight out of Saginaw Valley State. Free agent pickup again with Greg Jennings' wife giving birth earlier today. Jennings went home.
Yeah, we always talk about Brian Urlacher, and you always think, you know, the big middle linebacker against the run, but he is very, very good against the pass, and he's an excellent open field tackler. And he has speed, he has size, he has all those things, but he is a very good middle linebacker against the pass.
3rd down 2 out of the shotgun from the 29-yard line. Favre protected well and throwing, and that pass is caught by Ruvell Martin, who had gotten behind Manning, and then by the time help comes over, the pass was there. Daniel Manning getting in late after Ricky Manning had been beaten. It's 1st down at the 38-yard line. Green is the running back. That pump fake by Favre. Checking off and going to the left side, and it's incomplete. Intended for Carlisle Holiday. 2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. Fake to Green. Favre stepping up, fielding the pressure, throws to the outside court. Driver makes the catch, but no. Line judge says he was out of bounds.
Is the middle of the offensive line. Starting 2 rookie guards is tough in this league.
Spitz and College. And Favre has that one tipped, and it's incomplete. Tried to get it to Driver, but that was Urlacher over the middle, tipping it and forcing a punt.
And then Brett Favre goes up and says, good play. And again, you see these tackles, they're going to outside rush. So now Brett Favre has that whole middle, not only to step up, but to see his receiver, Donald Driver, but Brian Urlacher got back there and makes a heck of a play. This is what he does so well. Get deep, and not only get deep,
have the ball for the 2nd time. Green Bay on top 7-0, and they'll start here with Jones giving them some breathing space to the 8. Let's take a look at the Chicago starters.
Rex Grossman, Florida Gators.
Thomas Jones, the University of Virginia.
J.D. Reynolds, the University of Oklahoma.
Muhsin Muhammad, Michigan State University.
Bernard Berrien, the one and only Fresno State.
Desmond Clark, Wake Forest University.
John Tate, Brigham Young University.
Reuben Brown, Pitt. Olin Cruz, University of Washington.
Roberto Garza, Texas A&M Kingsville. Fred Miller, Baylor University.
Good steady offensive line, and that pass floats and is incomplete. Muhsin Muhammad was hit hard by Marquand Manuel, the former Packer, to break up the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
You know what Muhsin Muhammad has always done well is a double move. Now Al Harris, number 31, is going to be playing the whole time. You see that stop and go, the out and up. That's what Muhsin Muhammad does so well, and that's how he get deep. You know, so it's not only on that, it's not only Al Harris covering him, but then it's a safety, Manuel, coming over to help.
Manuel, the former Seattle Seahawk, 5th year in the league. 3rd down and 4 now. Grossman has started 0 for 3 under pressure and gets sacked at the 4-yard line, and that's Kabir Bajabiamila, who's no longer starting.
Would need you to be the first wheel.
Well, I don't know about that. I
know about that. I'm saying that. And I told him that. I said there's no way that could happen.
Here's Favre under pressure. And Alex Brown sacks him back at the 41-yard line. So Brett, who've been given good protection until this point in the game, all of a sudden here come the Bears, looking like the Bears.
Yeah, well, you know, they probably had enough of that, and they're going to bring their safety, Chris Harris. You'll see right here, number 46. So he comes from one side. Alex Brown is the second guy in. He's on the inside, and he's the guy that gets the sack.
Second down and 18. The ball is at the 44-yard line.
The Bears probably had enough of that and decided we're going to get some pressure.
There's a little shovel to Green, and Green takes it all the way down to the Chicago 40 to set up a third down and short. The Gross Cup Utah pass, except with some heat on it. Third down and 2. And Green with some tough running takes it inside the 35. So they went from 2nd and 18 to a first down at the Bear 33.
Here in college, you know where he's from? The North Pole. Well, man, if you're an offensive lineman from the North Pole, I'll guarantee you, you love this weather. You can play some football on the line.
They tell me he's never lived farther south than Green Bay, and that pass is incomplete. Chris Harris breaking it up on the pass intended for Donald Lee, the tight end.
These guys have to spend a little more time in the weight room, and you can see that, but I think they're playing very well.
2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Favre, and that pass is intercepted. Picked off by Nathan Vasher on a pass intended for Revell Martin. It looked like Favre thought maybe Martin would keep coming over the middle, slanting over the middle, but he stopped, and Favre gets picked.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's talking about. Vasher takes that inside, and you have to get across his face. When you come in here and you start on the slant, keep going. When he comes there, you have to get in front of him, go across his face. You can't stop. When you stop, that's going to happen. See, he throws it. He's leading them in there, and Vasher just jumps it and undercuts it, but Martin stopped.
Bears get it back at the 35-yard line. And this is Jones to the outside. And you know, John, talking to Favre, and one of the problems is, it's a youthful team, and they have some talent, and they will eventually emerge. But like Jennings in the Minnesota game was supposed to have run a hitch. Instead, Favre throws it to where he thinks Jennings is going to be. Jennings runs down the field. It gets intercepted by Fred Smoot that almost cost him the game. Here you got the same thing with a slant over the middle. The receiver stops, and Favre has the pass picked off.
Yeah, and I'm not making excuses for Brett Favre. I mean, he throws too many interceptions, but they haven't given him a lot of help at that position. I mean, yeah, Donald Driver's there, and he's an experienced guy, but they don't have other experienced guys at the wide receiver.
And across the 45-yard line goes Thomas Jones, stopped there by Aaron Campman after he picks up a first down. The Bears with 44 takeaways, and they stress that. I mean, Lovie Smith talks about it every day in practice, stressing not only good defense, but let's take the ball away. Let's get turnovers.
Right, and that's where the Bears are so good, in the takeover things, special teams, some things you don't see. They're great in those stats.
Thomas Jones swings to the outside, tackled by Collins. Let's take a look at the Packer defense.
Aaron Campman, Iowa Hawkeyes.
Corey Williams, Arkansas State.
Ryan Pickett, Ohio State University.
Cullen Jenkins, Central Michigan.
A.J. Hawk, The Ohio State University.
Nick Barnett, Oregon State.
Brady Papinga, Brigham Young.
Marquand Manuel, Florida.
Nick Collins, Bethune-Cookman.
Al Harris, A&M Kingsville.
And the other corner is Charles Woodson, number 21. Second down and 8. Grossman throws. That's caught by Rasheed Davis. He's taken down at the 45-yard line by Patrick Dendy.
Rasheed Davis, every time I see him, I'm kind of amazed how a guy like him makes it into the National Football League. Didn't play high school football, played at San Jose State, went to the Arena League, comes out of the Arena League and makes the Chicago Bears, and now he's their third wide receiver. When he plays third wide receiver as he is now, he is always the slot guy, and he's very good in the slot.
21 passes this season, third down and 2. And that pass is intercepted, and that's Nick Collins. And Nick Collins is going to run it all the way back for a touchdown.
He has to trust his reads. He has to take what the defense gives him and not force anything.
Cedric Benson is in the game at running back for the first time, and that pass is incomplete. And of course, some fans in Chicago wanted Lovie Smith a couple of weeks ago to go to Brian Griese, the backup quarterback. Lovie said, no chance. My guy is Grossman. Griese did see some action last week in the fourth quarter against Detroit. Played pretty well, and we will see Brian before the end of the night tonight.
Yeah, but I think there was a time, I think Lovie came close to going to Brian Griese, because remember before the St. Louis game, he had him split time and practice equally. And if Grossman didn't have a good game, Griese was going in.
And this is Benson. And finally, Collins able to ride him down after a big game. So the #1 draft choice a couple of years back, who's still playing behind the starter Thomas Jones, but is seeing more and more action, runs for 30 yards and a Bear first down.
You know, the Green Bay Packers, you see all three linebackers here, they have good speed. But when you start one side, you get them all going that way, then you cut back and there's just one tackler there, just one gap you have to beat. He beat that backside tackle and got a big run.
And of course, when you talk about these teams, George Halas, for 40 seasons, he was the Bears coach, 4 10-year increments. You had Vince Lombardi, of course, and going back with Green Bay, Curly Lambeau Field. That's where that came from, obviously.
Right, I mean, that's a great picture. To me, that's just NFL. George Halas, Vince Lombardi, that's what this is all about.
Cedric Benson now takes the ball to the 41-yard line. Second quarter getting underway. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, New Year's Eve in Chicago in the final game of the regular season. And you can see that they have resodded between the numbers. So the footing there is considerably better than it is outside the numbers in Chicago. The field in pretty good shape, all things considered. Had some rain here earlier today and yesterday.
Right, and inside will affect the linemen more. Outside, of course, will affect the defensive backs and wide receivers.
Tight lies in either area. Cedric Benson to make it 3rd and 1. We go to Andrea.
Well, the first couple of series on the Bears sidelines was almost a laid-back attitude, but that changed after Rex Grossman's interception was run back for the touchdown. Grossman was exhorting his teammates, really getting them up, and it became a sense of urgency. You could really see that in the players' eyes, especially a guy like center Olin Kreutz. They couldn't wait to get back on the field. Almost a feeling of they have something that they have to prove.
And right now, 3rd down and 2 as they try to mount a drive here. Grossman is one of his first 6 for 6 yards.
Let's see how Kreutz blocks here.
Well, let's see if they can recover the fumble, because it was dropped by Grossman. The snap from Kreutz, and Green Bay recovers. Ryan Pickett. Green Bay after Chicago's 2nd turnover from the 39-yard line. And this is Green for a gain of 2. Amon Green, another guy who's been around for a while. Amon Green on the verge of breaking a long-standing record held by Jim Taylor, most carries and most yardage in the history of the Green Bay Packers. And of course, that stood for about 4 decades. Started his career with Seattle, was traded over in 2000, and he's been the mainstay out of the backfield for this club.
You know, Mike McCarthy was saying last night that Amon Green runs angry, and I've kind of always thought that about him. I never put it in those words, but that's the way he runs. I mean, he's a power runner, and he does run like he's a little upset.
Up to the 46-yard line. He used to have humongous fumbling problems, but that's abated over the past couple of seasons. It's 3rd down and 2 now.
Well, you know, he has one habit. He always carries the ball in his left arm, so defenders know that, you know, so they know where the ball is going to be, and where that's really a problem is when he runs to his right with the ball in the left arm, the ball is always exposed.
3rd and 2. I think you got him one night to take off that sleeve, that rubberized sleeve that he had on his forearm. Favre improvising and buys time and finds the open man, and that's Ruvell Martin, who takes it inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. So Martin getting the start tonight because of the absence of Jennings, and that's a 34-yard gain for him. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 19-yard line.
Here's where the Packers have had trouble this year in the red zone.
Favre throws, and that pass is incomplete. 3-5 didn't happen.
I didn't even want to know what the 8 were.
2nd and 10 at the 19-yard line. Here's Green. You know, the funny thing, John, of all the longest shot of those 8, 3rd down and 5.
Here's where you need a tight end. And this is where the Packers used to be real good at hitting a tight end. And They don't have that from Bubba Franks anymore.
Favre, and that's dropped. Donald Lee would not have picked up the first down anyway, and Rayner will come in now.
He just passed over the old Billy Goat Cafe there.
From the 22 now, Chicago after the missed field goal. That's caught by the Moose, Muhammad, and Woodson will run him out of bounds just shy of the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I think one of the things you have to do when you're down and you haven't gotten anything going offensively, you have to get the ball to playmakers. And I think that Muhsin Muhammad is that guy. I mean, he'll catch the underneath stuff. He'll catch the stuff coming across. I mean, he is a big, strong, tough guy. He's a very good blocker.
6'2" and 215 lined up against Al Harris. Grossman now slings it over the middle, and the receiver fell down, and the pass bounces off Woodson.
I think it knocked him out.
Yeah, almost. Bernard Berrien fell down, and Woodson was looking at Berrien, and the next thing you know, the pass was right there, and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, Woodson looked like he took a left hook on that one. Watch him here. He starts. Berrien falls down. Woodson falls down, and the ball hits him right in the face. Now, Berrien is a speed guy. You know, we talk about Muhammad, the things that he does, and then Bernard Berrien on the other side is a guy that's going to go deep.
Second down and 10. This is Benson now. Some tough running through the middle into Green Bay territory to the 45-yard line, where he's tackled by Aaron Campman.
Every time we do a Bear game, they say that Cedric Benson is starting to come around now. He's squaring his shoulders. He's hitting the hole. He's doing all those things. But when you're the fourth player picked in the draft, don't you feel that he should have been doing it before this?
No question. I mean, that's why you're picking him in the number 4 spot. Thomas Jones is a pretty good back, but I mean, you would figure a guy going 4th overall would ascend to the number 1 spot, but he hasn't. They're sharing time. This is Jones in the game right now, in fact, on 3rd down and 4. Grossman throws to the outside, and that one is picked off. So Woodson, after taking one in the face, comes back and intercepts here. And, of course, the crowd is very unsettled. Tuesday morning from Washington. Tuesday on the Today Show. From the 43 after Chicago's 3rd turnover, this is Green. And I'm on with 8 tough yards. There's Marthy as well. And we'll hear from Brett from time to time throughout the game tonight as that pass is caught by Lee for a first down. But
as I watch him here tonight, I think he's going to be back. You know what he's doing tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, he's going to have surgery tomorrow. And this is Donald Driver on an end around, and Brett was in there to block. But Driver gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
On New Year's Day, you're doing it to get it over with quickly to find out something. So I think that's part of his decision.
Second down and 16. It's arthroscopic surgery on the ankle. And that is incomplete. But some of the things that he
doesn't want to be part of it this year. Do whatever you want to do, but don't get me involved in it.
Right. Last year, the family very much wanted him to come back and play this year. On 3rd and 16, it's a screen to Green, and Green takes it to the 39-yard line. River at the Wrigley Building. Back we come to Soldier Field. Rex Grossman on first down from the 10-yard line hands the ball to Benson up at the 12-yard line. Stopped after a gain of 2. It'll be second down and 8.
You know, one thing Mike McCarthy said last night, he said, if we're going to win, if we're going to beat the Bears, he said, we have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage with our defensive line, and they are doing that. I mean, they're playing very well. I mean, the linebackers are filling the gaps. The defensive line is stout. I really think moving Cullen Jenkins to the starting right defensive end has been a big thing for this Packer defense.
And he helped create that last turnover, 3 of them. Already 2 interceptions and a fumbled snap, and it's second down and 8 at the 12-yard line. Benson. That'll be a first down. When you look at Chicago now, they're off next week. So here's what's going to happen in that first playoff game. They won't meet Philadelphia. They can't. Philadelphia's the 3rd seed. If the Giants beat Philadelphia next week, the Giants come here. If Philly wins that game, then the winner of the Dallas-Seattle game comes to Chicago. And there it is. Chicago will face the lowest seeded team. So the Giants would be 6. Philly can't come here. New Orleans has the other bye. And this is Benson. And Benson providing a big spark, and the crowd gets into it again. Out to the 40-yard line he goes, and Benson has already carried the ball 7 times for 73 yards. That's an 18-yard gain there.
Yeah, I've always felt that the best friend of a quarterback is a good running back or a good running game. Rex Grossman is struggling. He needs something to get him out of this. He needs something to give him some confidence. He's really not playing nor throwing with a lot of confidence, and sometimes he just has to start moving the ball, getting some first downs, then you can go play action pass and get some completion.
Benson again. Swinging to the outside, but couldn't get around the corner. Collins comes up from the safety spot after Poppinga couldn't knock him down, and it's a gain of a couple, 2nd down and 8. And there goes Collins limping off.
I was just going to say, Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator of the Bears, is kind of taking the ball out of Grossman's hands here and just saying, okay, let's just calm down a little. Let's just run the ball, see if we can get something going.
He's trying to get the whole town to calm down as well. 2nd down and 8, the ball at the 41-yard line. Sorry, Bigby comes in for Collins. Great protection off the fake, but the secondary does its job, and then Grossman under pressure, the pass is incomplete. So it's funny because you've got a depleted secondary with Collins coming out, Bigby coming in, but they did their job, and then Corey Williams put the heat on Grossman, and the pass thrown away, 3rd and 8.
You know, the one thing Rex Grossman does that I don't like, and I don't think he likes it either, he backs up too much. You know, like when you go play action pass, when you start to get pressure, you have to step up. You see how he goes there? Now watch him go backwards. You really can't throw going backwards, and he doesn't get himself in position. When he starts to scramble, he'll scramble and be going backwards rather than getting his shoulders squared where he can be going upfield.
3rd and 8.
There he stepped.
Yeah, stepped into it. Stepped into the pressure that time. Stepped right into Corey Williams.
Right, and I knew, we're talking about the notes that he had, and that's one of his notes is.
Of course, the big question is who takes over. Would it be Aaron Rodgers, who they drafted a couple of years ago and got hurt this year, or somebody else? Favre caught. That's Ruvel Martin. And Martin having a nice night, takes it to the 39-yard line.
I mean, there is a big difference. You look at Grossman's last play and that play there with Brett Favre.
Green tackled in the backfield. Hunter Hillenmeyer makes the stop.
The quarterback or the offense with a lot of players. They spent their money on defense.
Inside handoff. Green. Stop for no gain. That's Alfonso Boone at the 40-yard line.
There's their big pass rusher, Mark Anderson.
Rookie at Alabama. They take him out of the play, and then Favre converts, and that's Holiday having a holiday on this New Year's Eve because he has now caught 3 passes for 63 yards. Favre 12 out of 23, 198 yards. Green to the 22-yard line.
Damon, as you say, he's playing his regulars, and they're kind of getting shredded by Green Bay.
2nd down and 7 at the 22-yard line. Favre to Green, gets a block, cuts back inside, and Amon Green, looking as good as ever, will pick up a 1st down before he is forced out at about the 11. 1st and 10.
I'm sure they throw more screen passes than anyone in the NFL.
Yep. Favre throws to the end zone and incomplete, intended for Donald Driver, covered there by Nathan Vasher with 65 seconds remaining in the half.
That wouldn't be part of his decision.
He is 6 behind Marino at 4:20. Brett with 4:14, including one tonight. Now Morency to the 7-yard line. Ironically, on the other side of that ledger.
Now the old Bubba Franks, you would have known on this play the ball was going to go to him.
4-man line, 4-man rush. Favre has that deflected, and it's incomplete. So he went over the middle and tried to get it to Franks. Brett holds his head. 4th down.
Yeah, and that's exactly, you see, Bubba Franks is right here. That's who he's going to. But Brian Urlacher, who I was talking about, is such a good pass defender, was just sitting right there in the middle and waiting for him. Looked like a Goonlier knocked that ball down there. Going to have a cycle, and you're going to have everything. You're going to have a lot of friends, and you can have some friends, and then you can have no friends on the team.
Whoa, and that's tipped, and it's intercepted by Patrick Dendy, and he's going to run that back for a touchdown.
Well, the plan had been to play Rex Grossman into the third quarter, but after 4 first-half turnovers, that changed for Lovie Smith. He decided to put Brian Griese in because he said we had to do something. We were sticking the place up. He said there's no way that he could put Grossman back in. And also, as the players were coming off the field, one of them said, hey, better now than in 2 weeks.
At the 32-yard line, they start here with Jones. Grossman, of course, had a first half to forget with a quarterback rating of 0. 2 out of 12, 3 interceptions and a fumble. Meanwhile, Brian Griese has thrown more passes than any active player who has never appeared in a postseason game.
You know, and the thing with Grossman, I mean, they start their playoffs a week from this weekend, and it's tough to say, oh, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
And that pass is incomplete at the feet of Clark. I mean, the question will become if Griese lights it up here in the second half. I know Lovie wants to stay with Grossman, but what if Griese has a phenomenal second half?
I think you still stay with Grossman. I mean, that would be easier, but you have a quick hook, and I think that's what he would do. You know that Brian Griese can play. I mean, if he proves it now, and if he plays well now, you know that he can play with your team. So you start Grossman because then you could bring Griese in. If you start Griese, it would be tough to bring Grossman in.
3rd down and 7. Griese under pressure. Well, it looks like the first half, and he gets sacked back at the 25-yard line. Corey Williams having a big night.
It's a true deal.
To the Packers' largest halftime lead against the Bears. In all the games played in Chicago, these two teams first met. 2nd down and 7. And that pass is caught just shy of a first down by Donald Driver. It'll be 3rd and 1.
And then they take advantage of him with the shovel pass and the pass protection.
Green picks up the first down, and the middle is a place that Favre loves to throw to, and Donald Driver lives over the middle, among others. Only Steven Jackson has caught more passes, a percentage of passes over the middle, and he's a running back. Morency, the backup to Ahman Green, who gives Green a rest from time to time. Best penalty of the night, period.
There's the old double cadence. He started the cadence, made him declare it, and then started another cadence.
2nd and 15, and that pass is incomplete for Donald Lee.
Those kinds of things.
And the mutual respect is, it's universal around the league.
Let's see if those tackles stay outside now or if they blitz. I think that would be the answer, is to blitz, and that's what they're doing.
And Favre gets it away in a hurry, and it's off the hands of Ruvell Martin and incomplete. Even Chicago down into the mid-40s right now. 1st and 10. Griese at quarterback from the 18-yard line. Jones swings to the outside. A little stiff arm on Collins there. But he's out of bounds after he's forced out just about the line of scrimmage. Tough to fire the coach. There's a holding call right here on John Tate. Makes it 1st and 19. Jones at the 10. In fact, we have George Halas sound on tape right here.
Hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball. Let's see the way you carry that ball.
Like that.
That's right. As long as you get in that, they can knock that thing. That's the most important thing right there. We had a fullback by the name of Jacady, and he just set a record of 13 fumbles. I showed him this the next season. He didn't have one.
That's the same thing Tom Coughlin showed Tiki Barber.
Right, on 2nd and 18. That pass is caught by Bernard Berry, and except Barber took it a step farther now. Barber holds the ball vertically.
Yeah, high and tight. This is what the Bears needed. This is what Brian Griese needed. You see him here. He comes back, has a good pocket there, makes a little move up to the inside, doesn't go back, steps up, and finds Bernard Berry out there on the sideline. The Bears just have to get something going. I know, that, okay, they already have home field throughout. Everything's clinched, and maybe it's a meaningless game, but I don't believe there's anything like a meaningless game.
3rd and 1. Griese getting chased. and then banged down by Collins after he was nearly sacked by Campman. So they went from 2nd and 18 to 3rd and 1, and now it's 4th down.
Brian Griese was saying that, that I haven't played, so I'm going to be rusty. He said, but I don't have any time to knock the rust off, so he knows that. I mean, he got prepared for this. He knew that he was going to play in this game. He didn't know exactly when or how much, but he said that, my time to get the rust off is going to be a very, very short time.
Bears are 0 for 8, and there's a fake, and the pass by Maynard, wide open, making the catch and picking up the first down and a lot more, and then fumbling it is Adrian Peterson, who is a running back, and I think Chicago has recovered. That was the initial indication from one of the officials. So Peterson was able to make the catch, pick up a lot of yards, and they do recover the fumble.
Sometimes a coach just has to make something happen. That you just can't go on like this. I mean, everything is against you. Everything is down. And you'll see Peterson, he is the wing right here. And you see he just goes straight up the field. Brad Maynard goes and fakes, and there is no one in that Packer middle.
And on top of that, they recover the fumble. There's a face mask penalty on Woodson that will tack on even more yardage. And Maynard is 4 out of 6 in his career as a passer.
You always worry about that a guy is so wide open that you're not going to get the ball to him.
Yeah.
Only that 11th guy.
At the 21-yard line on 1st down. It's Jones to the 17-yard line.
One of the things about putting Brian Griese in now, Al, when we talked to Lovie Smith the other day, he said, I'm going to put him in towards the end of the 3rd quarter, and then he changed his mind, but he didn't tell anyone. He didn't tell any of the players how much he was going to play him. He didn't tell the assistant coaches how much he was going to play guys. So this isn't something that, Rex Grossman didn't know how long he was going to play. Brian Griese didn't know exactly when he was going to go in.
He wanted the players to come out with the mindset they were going to play a whole game. And Jones gets banged out of bounds by Barnett and Popinga at the 17-yard line.
I like that fake punt, though, by Lovie Smith. That was a good decision because the Bears really have been sleepwalking out here. I mean, they've been getting, whipped defensively. They've been getting whipped offensively, special teams, and they had to do something. I remember Jimmy Johnson used to call, trick plays in the kicking game momentum changers. And that was a momentum changer for the Bears.
3rd down and 6 at the 17-yard line. Griese, good protection, and then throws it right into the hands of A.J. Hawk, the #1 draft choice, the linebacker out of Ohio State, having a fine rookie season, and he picks Griese off to end that drive to get him to Green Bay. Hello.
Rex College coach recommended him, and Ron Wolf went back and looked at him in his junior year.
That pass is incomplete. Nathan Vasher with the coverage and the near pick. 2nd down and 10 from the 22-yard line. Play clock at 2 on the snap. And then that pass is caught near the sideline by Carlisle Holiday. And then he played one game in Champaign when the Bears had to play one season there in 2002, and they refurbished this place, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Ruvell Martin, the arrival of Brett Favre.
And when Lovie Smith came into this game, he wanted to keep that streak going. They've dominated the division. They didn't lose a division game this year, and that was big to him. I mean, he has goals, and one of his goals is, to beat the Green Bay Packers, to dominate your division, to go undefeated in your division, and then obviously get in the playoffs, win in the playoffs, and eventually win a Super Bowl.
He's overlooked. We're always talking about the coach of the year. And I guess, when the expectations are high and you live up to them, nobody expected the Bears necessarily to win 13 or 14 games, but they expected them to be a good team after being the #2 seed. You tend to overlook a guy who all he does is live up to expectations and look to the guys who exceed them, people like Sean Payton.
I've always had a lot of respect for Lovie Smith. I mean, not only here in the job that he's done with the Chicago Bears, but when he was with the Rams and defensive coordinator. And
phenomenal story. Philadelphia. How in the world did they pull that off with Garcia? Nobody expected that after going 5-6. The pass to the outside is batted by Harris and incomplete. Seattle's had kind of an up and down year. I know they're coming off a Super Bowl season, but they're kind of like a team right now that's mysterious. Dallas, all of a sudden, they've been leaking oil down the stretch, and the Giants lose 6 out of 8. So all of these other teams, John, are going in. Yeah, of course you want to win the Super Bowl, but this will be the only team that if they don't win it, everybody's going to say, uh-oh,
yeah,
bad year.
I was saying earlier that I've been here all week, and that's all anyone is talking about. The Bears and jumping right to the Super Bowl. I mean, they're not so much interested in this game or even a playoff game or a championship game. And if they don't, it's not going to be a successful year in their mind.
3rd down and 10. Greasy. And that's caught. Rasheed Davis makes the catch. Got position on Patrick Dendy. And that will move the chains.
Yeah, Brian Greasy there looked a little like Brett Favre. When anytime you move in the pocket, you buy time for your receivers. And you let them get open on those deep outs and those deeper patterns because, again, the timing routes, the 3-step drop, that's all going to be shorter stuff. If you're going to throw those deeper outs and those deeper ends, the quarterback has to move a little in the pocket before he throws it.
That's the Bears' first 3rd down conversion of the night. Greasy stepping up off the play fake, and then the pass is incomplete. Collins and Woodson covering, burying on the play. We go to Andrea.
Well, any discussion of Lovie Smith at this point has to involve his contract, which expires after next season. They had the opportunity, the Bears, to extend his contract in the offseason, but team president Ted Phillips told me that he wanted to see more from Lovie. He said it had nothing to do with him not being a quality head coach. It was about being the right fit between himself, Lovie, and general manager Jerry Angelo. He came to the conclusion that Lovie had earned a new deal regardless of what he does in the playoffs, which could be portent of things to come, considering what's going on tonight. But they are initiating discussions on a new deal with Lovie's agent. Phillips said he would like a longer-term deal, maybe 5 years or more, and maybe they might start talking next week.
I would expect Lovie Smith, who's already said, he said, look, I want to end my career as the coach of the Chicago Bears, and I'd be stunned if they weren't able to come to a deal.
No, I'd be stunned too, and I'm stunned that they say that we have to see how he fits. I mean, he fits very well. I mean, he's a coach. He's a strong coach. He has great ideas. He knows how to get players to play. He's organized. He has everything you need, and I don't know, fit in with these guys. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I know that he ought to be the coach here for a long time.
After Benson picks up a 1st down, the pass is tipped and incomplete.
One of the things that the Bears said coming into this game is that Desmond Clark has to have a big game, that they want to get the ball to him, and they got to get him started early and all those things. And I think this could be the first pass they've thrown to him. And the Packers have done a good job of taking him away in the middle. That was Papinga there, just kind of waiting for that in. And then even Brian Greasy said, of all the guys, he said, the one that I know best is Desmond Clark because I played with him at Denver.
2nd down and 10. Greasy was with Denver for 5 years. Here's Jones on a screen that goes nowhere. One thing about Brian, he's been around 5 years in Denver, then to Miami for 1 season, to Tampa Bay for 2. Of course, the son of the Hall of Famer, Bob Greasy. And Brian was the guy who had to succeed Elway, so you had those expectations. And, he's had a nice career, but as we said before, has not played in a postseason game in the 8 years in the league.
And he was telling me the other day how tough this is being a backup and, getting ready every week to play and then not play and then have to come back and get ready again the next week and not play. He said it's been a very frustrating year for him.
3rd and 13. And that pass is knocked away. And that is Nick Collins, who has been all over the field tonight.
Outlast him, you don't have friends anymore, and he really doesn't have a friend on this team.
From the 25-yard line, that's Green. I mean, there's so much respect.
I didn't mean that they weren't friends, but I mean that he doesn't have anyone on the team that he hangs out with.
Morency is going to cut it back. And he's tackled there by Hunter Hillenmeyer. Question, of course, is will this be Brett's last game? Morency is going to be stopped a little short. New Year's Eve, 61 NFL championship. Vince Lombardi's first title, 37-0. The Ice Bowl, they beat the Cowboys to advance to Super Bowl II, where they beat Oakland. Wild card playoff beat the Lions in '94, held Barry Sanders to negative yardage, and beat the Falcons on New Year's Eve in '95. So December 31st, a good day in Packer history.
A lot of good days in Packer history.
Yeah. And this is a flag down and out of bounds as Berrien runs it back. And he stepped out of bounds back at the 25-yard line. So the official dropped the beanbag there, and normally about 1 million is the estimate.
How do you get 1 million people anywhere?
Then you just make it up.
Probably.
It's like ratings. Benson taken down to the line of scrimmage. How do you know if somebody's going to watch a game for 72 minutes or 23?
You know, a guy that's had a heck of a year is Aaron Campman. And you watch him. He's going against Fred Miller right here. He just gets both hands, plays them off, and then comes right down the line. He has 15.5 sacks this year, and he's one of those blue-collar guys that, has a lot of sacks because he works hard. I mean, he never stops, he never slows up, he just keeps going after the quarterback.
2nd and 10, the pass is incomplete. Up to the minute sack leaders in the NFL, and of course this includes today's action. Sean Merriman of San Diego is going to win that crown despite missing the 4 games when he was suspended for violating the steroids policy. Then this Cam and Aaron Schobel, great year for Buffalo. Jason Taylor, a phenomenal season with Miami, and Julius Peppers of the Panthers.
You don't think Campman will get 2 sacks tonight?
Well, he's got 15 minutes and 15 seconds
right,
to do it.
And the Bears have to throw, so what the heck, they could just widen out and tee off.
3rd down and 10. Greasy out in front. Catch is made by Mark Bradley, his first catch of the night, and the Bears finally get on the scoreboard. 75 yards to the second-year wideout out of Oklahoma.
That was the something that the Bears needed. That was the something that Brian Greasy needed. Patrick Dandy, he is right here. He's the corner now. Now he thinks that he has help from the safety, from Manuel here, but they really they're both beaten here. You see here, what Manuel does is he goes underneath it, and you look at Patrick Dandy, he thinks that he has help inside, and he doesn't. And Mark Bradley just runs right by both of them, and Brian Greasy gets it out there perfectly. That's one of those things that should really never happen. I mean, you have a guy double teamed, you have him inside out, you have him deep, you have him short, and not only does he beat the outside guy, he also beats the inside guy.
At the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Favre throws, and it's behind Donald Driver. Playing punch ball with Sid Luckman.
Well, what was Sid Luckman doing then?
At that time, he was. I think he was still with the Bears. As Green takes it up to the 27. I was probably younger than 11. Against the Seahawks in the 2nd game of the wild card doubleheader next Saturday on NBC. Favre throws. Catch is made by Donald Driver.
Like you say, we don't know, and maybe the answer is, maybe that's the answer. We don't know, but if I had to guess, I would guess he's back.
No, it was so funny because this morning we're saying we think he's going to retire.
No, how can he retire? I don't think he can.
And Clemens still hasn't retired.
No. Oh, he has a couple times, but he's come back.
2nd and 10. Favre throws, incomplete. John, I was thinking, and we were talking about this the other day, 2 of them
I remember John Elway before that game telling me that he's retiring because his body tells you. He said, it's your body that tells you, not your mind.
On 3rd and 10, that pass is caught as he finds Carlisle Holiday.
Let's put Doug Peterson in.
Never. He's had what's amazing,
Detmer or something.
19 backup quarterbacks for Brett Favre through the years. Caught by Donald Lee.
Have to worry about that position, and I'm more aware of that now and more appreciative of the things that I've done.
Out of the pocket he comes, and that's Cameron Worrell who will knock him down and get credit for a sack. 2nd and 11 at the 33. Favre over the middle. Green to the 27.
And tonight, his receivers have really done a good job. I mean, these young receivers have gotten open, they've caught the ball, and I've really been impressed with the offensive line.
On 3rd and 6, he fires that one behind Donald Driver, and it will be 4th down and 6.
Kansas City was essentially at the bottom of the list as far as the teams that could possibly get into the mix, but the one thing that they had was those wins against the Denver Broncos, and when you got into the divisional matchup, that's what really killed Denver today.
And it's Benson taking the little pass from Greasy and picking up about 17. So you've got Larry Johnson going up against that Indy defense. We also have a flag here.
The best defense, and I know you can make a pretty strong argument that San Diego does as well. But I think this Baltimore defense is just devastating. I've never seen such versatile athletes on a defensive side of the ball because they ask those guys to blitz. They ask them to drop back in coverage. They can move. They can all run. It's a defense that, you know, they may not have the most exciting offense in the world, but with Steve McNair, he's not going to lose ball games, a la something we're kind of watching tonight in Chicago. And so for me, that's the team to beat.
Benson just ran for 11 yards, and of course, sometimes defense can do it, as they did for the Ravens back in 2000. Now you've got Benson again, so this has been a real good series for Benson. A gain of 8 here. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
You know, don't you just think, though, that one of these years is going to be Marty Schottenheimer's year? And, you know, in the San Diego Chargers. And the only thing that I'm not sure about the Chargers is a quarterback. You know, if he, you know, you have a quarterback playing his first year, he's going to have a bumpy road, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. But I sure like all the other parts the Chargers have.
No doubt. 2nd down and 3 here. Benson with a career high. Over 100 yards. Here he goes again, and he picks up a 1st down, and a flag is down.
Or did tonight's performance knock him out of the box? And for Brian Griese, and really, I went back, and I know preseason means absolutely nothing, but I saw every preseason snap this year.
And then you go back, and you're the same old Bears. So I think he'll probably start Rex Grossman and then have a quick hook to bring Brian Griese in.
Well, Griese just threw an interception, and Collins, playing no favors tonight, has picked off both quarterbacks.
Right.
5 minutes or so. 1st down and 10.
And they're great fireworks, too, Alec. I can see them from my room.
This is green. It's the best place to see them from, I'm convinced.
Right, it is.
Stay warm.
I agree with you. Last year, you know, they got Woodson, they got Pickett on defense, AJ, you know, on the #1 draft choice. And this year, this offseason, if they keep him, they're going to have to spend some time and money and get some offensive players. And I think they're going to be okay.
I'll tell you the other thing that I've seen is I think this improved defense has really been the story of the last month or so. They were pretty bad early on, but they do such a great job.
Our defensive line has to win that battle with their offensive line, and they have tonight.
You know, I really only have one other question. And
what'd you punch it with?
Your hand. Oh, you throw it up and just punch it.
Oh, listen, John didn't know what it was.
I didn't know.
John's a California guy. Come on, this is Brooklyn, like stoop ball and punch ball and stick ball. Have a good trip to Indy. Chris Collinsworth joining us from the studio in New York as this one winds down, and this is Morency breaking a tackle, but not a second one, as Dante Wesley comes up to stop him. And now he's in effect told them, I'm going to tell you in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, but, you know, he has more answers now. Last year, He didn't know who the coach was going to be, who the players were going to be, who the assistant coaches. Now, he knows who's going to be around him. And then, in addition to that, his wide receivers have done a very good job. And this group here, this offensive line, I think has been outstanding.
3rd and 2. Out in the flat, Henderson. And a penalty. A little bit of symmetry in the Packers season. They open up losing 26-0, and they're closing leading 26-7 with a little more than 3.5 to play.
Week and the week after that.
Absolutely. And then read about it and hear about it for the fortnight too. This is Martin picking up the first down. Morency. 2nd down and 7 at the 25-yard line. Morency. And the backup to Green is out of bounds at the 10-yard line. After the game, we'll get a final word from him. And this is Green pushed back.
I think if his eyes are dry, no, that's being ridiculous. If his eyes are dry, he's coming back. If they're not dry, he's not.
Well, we'll get a close-up look when he talks to Andrea in just a moment here. But for what it's worth, a good night for Brett, a great night for the Packers. They end the season with 4 consecutive wins. Chicago winds up 13-3. The road to the Super Bowl in the NFC still comes through here. And the Bears off next week in a playoff game the weekend of the 13th. We'll wrap it up after this.